Fowler here with the latest. And Jeremy, as of right this very second, what is Pittsburgh's interest in signing Aaron Rodgers?
Well, Shay, I talked to somebody with the Steelers. The interest remains strong. Yesterday's visit was more exploratory, more of a get-to-know-you session. There wasn't any contract talks involved. Steelers have had a contract offer out to Aaron Rodgers. That's sort of been known at this point. But they were so serious about bringing Rodgers in that Steelers brass skipped Michigan's Pro Day, which if you know the Steelers, that's a big deal. They love to send their cavalry to every big Pro Day. So the heavy hitters with the organization stood in town to meet with Rodgers, and certainly Russell Wilson or some other options aren't completely off the table for Pittsburgh, but they have shifted their focus over the last few weeks squarely on Rodgers, and they hope to get that done.
Peel back the curtain. I did ask Jeremy, when does a decision have to be made on Rodgers? He told me indefinitely, never. So we could wait this out for a very long time, although it seems like April 24th, the draft, would be a good time for a decision to be made on a quarterback there in Pittsburgh. Another domino in this quarterback web fell yesterday. Jameis Winston signing with the Giants on a 2-year deal. And so, Jeremy, what does this move indicate about the Giants' plan at quarterback with the 3rd pick in the draft?
Well, the Giants feel like they at least have a bridge option. I'm told this doesn't necessarily take Aaron Rodgers out of the equation, but it's the belief league-wide that the Giants have been in that sort of number 2 seat for Rodgers all along. The Pittsburgh's been the focus, but they are still sort of in the mix there as a potential option. So, and look, I've talked to people who think that the Giants could sign 2 free agent quarterbacks, that hasn't been totally off the table because of their dire need there at the position. They went into the last few weeks with really just having Tommy DeVito as a exclusive rights free agent that they could pick up. And so there's not much there in the quarterback room. Even if they draft somebody, they need reinforcements. So they have Winston in the fold. Could sign somebody else. Russell Wilson, he's considered the Giants a viable option for a while now. We'll see if that Winston signing changes things for him.
Okay. And as of right now, with the 3rd pick in the draft, the thought is that Shedeur Sanders would go to New York. We will see. How about the Steelers and the Giants? They were options for free agent quarterback Russell Wilson. What did Friday's developments mean now for where Russell Wilson could end up?
Well, as far as other wild cards for Wilson outside of the Giants, I did hear that the Steelers have not taken them off their list. It just appears that he's been sort of number 3 behind Justin Fields, who they've tried to sign a few weeks ago, who went to the Jets, and then now Rodgers. So it feels like that relationship has ended after 1 year in the black and gold, but we'll see. It's not totally off the table at this point. And then the Cleveland Browns loom large here. They had Russell Wilson in for a visit last week. There is some interest from the Browns in bringing Russell Wilson in with a contingency plan of like a Carson Wentz or another free agent. And then, of course, they're picking second overall. They can draft a quarterback. But Wilson still has at least 2 hands in the fire with Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And then the Giants, he's considered an option for a while now. We'll see what changes there.
All right, we'll keep an eye on all of these courts.
Is on and popping. Bart Scott, Jeremy Fowler joining the program. Gentlemen, good morning to you. J-Bone, the Bengals finalized contract extensions with Jamar and T early this week. Now the focus shifts to Trey Hendrickson, who's also looking for an extension. Where do things stand between the two sides?
Gee, I'm told the talks between the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson are quiet right now. They tried to reignite things last week on a contract extension, talked for a few days, exchanged some potential offers, couldn't reach an agreement as of now. Also, the Bengals have not shown an eagerness to trade Trey Hendrickson despite some clear interest from teams looking for a pass rusher at a premium spot. And so right now this is at a stagnation point. The Bengals do want to pay Hendrickson. They've made him contract offers, but they are not in the eyes of the player commensurate with his skill set as a guy who has 35 sacks over the last 2 years. The pass rush market has exploded well above $35 million per year right now. So that's the rub right now. The team is going to continue to try. Their goal all along has been to lock up all 3 stars, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, but they prioritize signing of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And you're paying your second receiver $28 million when you have a guy that has led the league in sacks, and he has 57 sacks over 4 years. I've seen this movie before with the Bengals with T.J. Houshmandzadeh and Chad Ochocinco. In this division, you have to play defense, and nobody's been better at the position, not even Myles Garrett over the last 2 years, and Trey Hendrickson. And last year they put a Band-Aid on the wound last year, thinking that he would have a down year or the market wouldn't explode. This is what happens. The Bengals haven't prioritized defense, and that's why they lost players like Jesse Bates, because they wait to the last minute to pay them, hoping that they have a down year. And now Trey Hendrickson has all the leverage. And them trying to say that they're trying to trade him is a joke, because they put a poison pill expecting a first-round draft pick when the team that acquires him knows that they have to pay him $30 to $35 million. And when Michael Parsons gets paid, the market's going to explode even more.
Mm-hmm. All right, Bart, so sticking on that, and you obviously want your guys to have your back within that locker room, but can a point be made that, listen, the Bengals defense was not that great last season with Hendrickson leading the league in sacks, so going out there and trying to get a return for him instead of paying him because obviously the defense wasn't that great without him, is that something that the Bengals can stay claiming?
Well, you don't get better by getting rid of your best player.
When he said them. And so, Bart, I am told you have things on you to get off your chest, things you can't wait.
Greeny, I tried to get here Monday. That's how pissed off I was. I am tired of the disrespect laid at the feet of the defensive players. It's time to set the record straight. And I got a lot of stuff to say.
So who does it start with?
It starts with Joe Burrow, a.k.a. Macaulay Culkin. Listen, we all love the beautiful story. Listen to this. Oh, I love you so much. Get a sack. Let me tell you what, you got to get the ball back. If one thing the Super Bowl taught us is that offense wins games, defense wins championships. While he's showing all the love to his brothers there, he's spitting in the face of Trey Henderson because he should be advocating for him. At what world, D. Wood, do you pay the second receiver on your team before you pay arguably the best defensive end in all of football? Last year, 17.5 sacks, over 57 sacks in over 4 years, and this guy's the 55th highest paid defensive player in football. Disrespectful. Pay the man his money, because at the end of the day, we saw this movie before. I remember it was a time when it was T.J. Houshmandzadeh, and it was Chad Ochocinco, and it was Carson Palmer, and they went nowhere. And eventually, Carson Palmer asked for a trade. That's what we headed for. I got a lot more to say about that, but I know I got to move on, man.
No, but let me get it. Did you agree with that? Do you think that they should have taken care of maybe they still wound up taking care of Hendrickson. We'll see. They gave him the permission to seek a trade. I don't think that's really gone anywhere so far. We're going to get Fowler in here a little bit later, so we'll ask him. If they don't take care of Hendrickson, if for whatever reason he winds up gone, did they pay the wrong guy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a travesty. Like, you're talking about one of the best defensive players in the league. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to hear Joe Burrow or anybody on offense cry or complain anymore. It is all on you now.
Yep.
Like, it's all on you. Y'all got all these weapons, but then got a wet paper bag on defense. So don't say anything come the season.
Okay, that's the first thing that you're aggravated about. What's the next thing you're aggravated
about? This hurts me because it comes from my hometown, and we don't play this soft stuff. With this reseeding, best record, let's go about it.
Because the Lions playoff proposal,
Yes, because, listen, how do we go over the best records? I know you were on the other side of it, Woody, but I want you to remember this. We was in a division where the Patriots basically had 3 homecoming games or 6 homecoming games a year. So what I'm talking about, when you think about certain divisions, when you go over the best record, your strength of schedule has to matter as well. So the fairest way is to make sure that you win your division, because sometimes your division is going to be really good. Sometimes your division is going to be really bad. Sometimes you're going to have one of those easy schedules where you're going to play another division that's weak. Doesn't matter if you play the NFC South and then you got to play the AFC South as your off-schedule game. Those are homecoming games. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you're the better team. That's almost equivalent to like if we take the MAC conference and they go undefeated in college and they become the #1 seed. But we would all laugh at that.
Okay, I was with you on the first one. The second one I'm not 100% sure I'd go with you on because, A, those things rotate every single year. They're